All right, I'm gonna run to Menards. We got to get some mounting screws for the three corners on this to mount into the container. We got to get a different box or a box extension. So this section of the RV plug or marine plug is about, to leave room for the wires to bend, I need about a 3-inch long box. So I'll either get a extension for this, because this is only 1.5 inches, or I'll just get a deeper box. And then I also need to grab some mounting screws to clamp this flange on. So let's go get that stuff, and then we'll start working on running the Cat 6, putting the Starlink dish up, and a couple other little things here and there. Okay, I'm back from Menards. They didn't have quite exactly what I wanted for the box extension, so I just picked up a 2 1/8 deep box, and then we got our 1.5 inch, so that'll work out nice. I'm just gonna make my own extension basically. So if you look, I already drilled a hole in this one. I gotta drill a hole in that corner. We'll mount this on, and then on the back, I'll cut out the rest of this metal here and just leave the tabs in the corner. Basically exactly what an extension ring would do, but they just didn't have what I needed. So I also got some hardware, and then we'll start mounting all this stuff up. So I'm gonna cut this out, and then we'll mount it and go from there. All right, so here's what we got. I got the bottom of the other box taken out. I got this all screwed together, and I got the hole drilled in the back for the plug here. Now, if you notice, I set this towards the bottom rather than the top. That way, when that's in there, I have room to pull my wire through the top conduit, and it's not tight against this, because that 6-gauge wire is really, it's not that easy to move around. So I'd rather leave myself some more room than less. So now I'm gonna go put this into the conduit that's on the wall, mark the center on the container, drill the hole out, and then we'll have to start getting this mounted up. All right, so I got the hole drilled on, or drilled in the side here. So I'm gonna pull the wire through, strip it down, wire it in here, wrap this all in electrical tape so that it can't touch anything metal or short out on anything. And then these screws, or machine screws, will clamp through, and it'll pinch the box against the container. And I am going to put a generous amount of Lexel around all the screws and around the gasket here on the side. So I'm going to get all that put together, and I'll show you the final product on that, and then we'll start working on the Starlink dish. Okay, if you guys have ever messed with this kind of wire, this thick of wire, you know how difficult it was to get this in here. It's like 100 degrees. I'm trying to get those little nuts in the back tightened up. So I finally got it. It took me like literally a half an hour to get those 3 nuts on. So now that they're started, I'm gonna shoot Lexel between here and tighten those right up, and it should squeeze in nice. And then the hard part's done. All right, there's the final product. Got the top all Lexelled. It's all screwed in nice and seamless, and that'll shut when I unplug that. On the inside, we got our box extension, and we got the cover on. So that turned out great. So for the power, we're pretty much done, except obviously hooking up the letters. But I got something I gotta go to, but I'm going to put the Starlink dish on when I get back, and then we'll just go from there. Okay, I got the bracket holes cut out, and the hole for the cords to go through. So that's for the Starlink bracket and power and Ethernet cord. Now, I do need to cut. Oh, it's in my truck. Sorry. I do need to cut the Starlink power cord. One, it's like 50 feet, and I only need like maybe 2 foot of it, so I don't feel like having that much in there. And if you look, the end has a pre-made grommet, and so's the other. And if I have to drill a hole big enough for that to slide through the container, it's going to get way too big of a hole, and it'll be hard to waterproof. So I'm just going to cut it, and we'll solder it back together once I put it through the hole in the thing. So I'm going to do the same I did for the other plate. I'm going to, or the plug, I'm going to Lexel all the screw holes, and I'll pass through my Cat 6, and I'll pass through this after I cut it, and Lexel that hole as well. Okay, I'm going to show you guys how to make up a RJ45N on some Cat 6. So we need to make this up for the Starlink dish. So here's some Cat 6 standard stuff. Now I know it's not weatherproof and I'm putting it outside, but there's this much of it going outside, and it's underneath the dish of the Starlink. So wine all you guys want, but I'll show you guys how to do this. So you take, sorry, I didn't even show you this. These are the strippers and crimpers and act as cutters for the ends. And I got pass-through RJ45 connectors, or feed-through, sorry, because I think they're a lot easier than the ones where you have to trim the wires to length. But you can call me a hack, but whatever. So let's make one of these up. So you leave yourself, you just pass through a little bit there. You put it in the end, so you can then spin it around. And there's your sheeting stripped. So now you're down to your 4 pairs there. So there's this little ribbon. You're going to cut that off. Let me grab a pair of scissors. I usually use a pair of scissors. Cut that ribbon right off. And then you need to separate all your strands, or your pairs, sorry. These are 2 pairs in each one, and you want to unwind them and straighten the wires. You want to leave yourself some good amount of length here, that way you have something to work with when you pass it through your feed-through connector. So we're separating all our ends. Now, if you can't tell, if you can't tell, they're all twisted like that. So you want to take your fingers. If you're doing a lot of these, you might want to use a screwdriver and run it over it. But you want to take your fingers and straighten them like that, so they don't have all those twists in them. Now that these are all straightened, you want to get them in order. So there's an A and a B chart on the strippers here. I usually use the A, where your orange, stranded and orange are separated in the line. So I'll get these all straightened out. So you got stranded green, green, stranded orange, blue, stranded blue, orange, stranded brown, brown. That's the order. Okay. Now you just want to make sure that they're all in the correct order once you've straightened them out there. And because the ends are all wonky, I like to take my cutters and cut these all off straight. Now they're all perfectly straight and in their order. Okay, now we take a feed-through connector. Okay, we take our feed-through connector or pass-through, whatever you want to call it. Make sure these ends are all good here. And we just put it in just like that. We feed them through. We make sure the blue sheeting is set into the connector. And then you want to check your order one more time. Okay? Because they can get off when you put them in. And ours looks good. So now, I like to twist that little bit extra on the end so that I can get it through the hole on the crimper tool. And we pass it through. Set it in and crimp. I do it 3 times. My cutters are worn down, I think. Ooh. And there we go. There's an RJ45 end put on the cable. Okay, so I got the dish mounted up. There we go. Starlink's on there. And you can see just how low profile it is. And I don't think any water is going to get to those connections. So I'm not too worried about it. But if you remember, I just cut the power cord on it. So I need to solder on this other end onto where it's coming through the ceiling there. So these Starlink cables, they're kind of, there's an outer wrap of wire around this inner wire. Maybe I can get it on the other piece I cut. Hold on. So if you look, it's too hard to see, but it's wrapped around this other one. So I had to separate those. And now I'm going to solder these 2 ends together, and I'll solder it on the container. And then we'll see if we can't get some internet working. Okay, I got that soldered up. And I got the internet up and running, so that all works good. I'm going to start, it won't take me that long. I'm going to start putting up the Cat 6 to those cameras in that corner and a couple leads to that way. I'm not going to drill them through the container yet because I don't have the cameras yet, obviously. So until that point, I'll just leave a lead looped up in the corner. Now I am using, to hold them on, I've got some, here, sticky, like double-sided zip tie holder things here. Sorry. So these just stick on and then you can put a zip tie through and it holds it nice. So I'm going to go along the whole thing and tidy all that up. And then that's going to be it for tonight. Okay, I got everything done now as far as I can with what I got. So we got our 2 leads there, and I tried to make everything as neat as possible. I spaced out those sticky things for the zip ties 2 feet on center. So came around, tried to be as neat as I could. Come down, and then this will be, I'll mount the NVR, the video recorder here. So I got 2 leads here for the outside cameras on this corner, and then the one here for the inside corner. And this is our feed from the Starlink dish, which will give the internet to the actual camera system. And other than that, I'm probably going to take a piece of plate steel or something flat and glue it on here with that PL Max, same thing I use for all the electrical, paint it up the same color as this, so I can mount it and lay all these out straight nicely. But that's about it for tonight. I'm just gonna pick up this mess I made here, and yeah, we're making good progress. All right, so it's been raining for about a week straight, and tomorrow it looks like we're gonna have a chance to get this thing painted and have it dry for a couple days without some rain on it. So it's Saturday right now, and tomorrow I'm planning on painting this Saturday morning, just like we painted in the morning last time. So I'm not gonna sand it all like with the orbital like last time. I'm just gonna scuff it up with a Scotch-Brite pad again. So this stuff scuffs a lot easier than the marine coating that was on this before. So if you can't tell, I did a section here, but basically, I don't know how well it's going to see, but that's all it takes there to scuff this thing up. It's not going to take me that long to do. So I'm just going to start scuffing this thing, and then it'll be ready to do one more coat of paint on this tomorrow morning, and then we will be done. And in the next video, we'll get the lights and everything on, and this thing will be pretty well finished up. I tell you what, this rain has been kicking my butt recently. Once again, everything's soaked. So I got the 2 sides scuffed. It didn't take that long. I don't know how you can see, it's all scuffed. I got to do these doors in the end again, but obviously it's raining now, so that plan fell apart quick. I'm gonna paint tomorrow morning early, and I didn't want to I wanted to get this done so I didn't have to come out early, but it looks like I'm gonna have to. And I need to re-plastic this jam up again, but this is all wet, so it looks like I'll have to come out early and finish that stuff up, but that's just what's gonna happen. I hope that it still says it's supposed to be dry tomorrow, but who knows with the way things have been going. So I hope that I'm able to get this thing painted tomorrow morning and just be done with it. But yeah, I'll probably see you guys much later, and we'll get this thing done. All right, so I got everything scuffed up nice, and we're ready to paint this thing. I was gonna paint it early to keep the heat off of it, but it's a really cool day today. It's about 50 degrees right now, and I want the sun to come up to get the dew off of this, to just kind of dry that up nice, and then we'll start painting this thing. Okay, so I didn't film the painting part of it just because you guys already saw that, so it wasn't that important really. But all the blotchiness in the middle is gone now, and it looks very uniform, so I'm happy with that. Noah's out here, and we're going to take all the tape and paper off the doors, or plastic. So we'll take all the tape off that, and then we'll get the plastic off the back of the doors and the jam there. And that's going to be about it for this video. And then in the next one that you guys will see will be about finishing up the letters and getting them all mounted up on the container. So that'll be an exciting video. But thank you guys for watching. Actually, I guess I'll show it when we get all the plastic off, and then I'll finish this up.
Holy, what did you do?
All right, so we got it all finished up. The boys helped me peel all the tape off. So there it is, all done. Looks nice. All that on the ground was just on the plastic and on the stuff. So if this paint really hardened up nice, so I'm confident it'll be strong. But if you look, it's real flaky on there. So it hardened up. So I know the catalyst worked. Now, is it perfect? No. I'm more than happy with it though. I mean, I could sit here and, trust me, I want to sit here and touch things up here and there, but I'm not too worried about it. After all, it is going to be a job box, and the doors and everything will get beat up, so I already know that. But I think it looks great. And yeah, that's it for this video. So thank you guys for watching, and then in the next one, we'll get to doing the letters, and that'll be much more of an interesting video. So I'll see you on the next one.